All right, so let's go ahead and talk about congruent triangles and the markings that go with this. So when we're talking about angles, because they're going to have us mark angles, they're going to have us mark sides, and then they're going to have us show that one triangle is congruent to the other triangle. So we do have to pay attention to the markings here. So to show that angles are congruent to each other, we use what's called an arc. So this is an example of an arc, like this. And so with this one, I can say that angle A is congruent to Z. And I know these are not the same ones. I'm just showing you an example over here really quick. So angle A is congruent to angle Z. If I wanted to keep going and show the next ones, I would use 2 arcs and then 2 arcs. And then the third one, I would go 3 arcs, like this. 3 arcs. So literally we just match up the number of arcs. So 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. So that's the basic idea of congruent angles. I have seen them use different colors as well. The main problem with that one, if you're using just one arc for everything and just a different color to match them up, if it gets printed in black and white, then all of a sudden you can't tell which arc goes with which one. They're all just one arc. So using the different numbers ensures that, you know, over multiple different types of media, you'll be able to see the congruent angles there. So that's a big reason why we want to use, you know, number of arcs instead of colors. So then we have the side lengths, and we can see like these tick marks here, and that's exactly how we mark side lengths. So if I wanted to go AB like this, I would go one little tick mark, and I kind of made it big, but it really doesn't matter. So a mark here, and then that's congruent to ZX. So I would go 1 tick mark. Same idea as the arcs. If I wanted to go along the bottom here, I would go 2 marks. And then this matches the bottom here, or is congruent to the bottom. And I actually copied over this triangle exactly, so I know that they are congruent. They match each other perfectly, because I literally drew this one and then copied it and moved it down here. So they definitely are congruent triangles. So same thing, I have 3 to 3. So just like the arcs, you match up the number of tick marks. Again, I would not use different colors. You can use all the colors you want, but I would still use the different number of tick marks and the different number of arcs, just in case we're going from, you know, one media to the other and we lose the ability to print in color or see the color for whatever reason. This also could help too with someone who may be colorblind, something along those lines, because they may not be able to see the different colors, especially with certain ones. And I know I've had some colorblind friends there that they can tell the difference between colors very well, but sometimes certain ones kind of blend together. They can be very difficult to tell them apart. So it's just one of those things to make sure, you know, we always see it the same way, just to, you know, be very clear there on what we're drawing. So this is the basic idea of the markings. Yes, we do need to pay attention to those. We do want to understand those, because when we're saying which angles are congruent to each other or which sides, that definitely matters. We can't just say, oh, A is congruent to Y. Well, no, A is not congruent to Y. A is only congruent to Z in this diagram. So as we go through and do this one, we can look at it. We're just matching up 1 to 1. So A would be congruent to Z, and even though I drew different triangles over here, it looks like the diagram is pretty similar, although it's actually reversed because it's B and Y on this one. And it's okay that they're not kind of in the same position. It's like a mirror image. It kind of looks like it flipped over this line here, but that's all right. We're allowed to move it around. We just can't change the size. Or the type of triangle it is. It needs to be the exact size and shape, but it can be moved around. It can be rotated. It can be reversed as far as like flipped over like a reflection, or translated, which means we can move it around the screen too. They don't have to be in the same position. We just need to be able to match them up. So, and I'm going to do capital letters just so that Alex doesn't give me any grief about that, because sometimes it will, because we started off with capital letters. So we have B to Y, just 2 arcs to 2 arcs, and then C to X, because it's 3 arcs to 3 arcs. Oops. X, not C. Silly me. All right. So as we do this, when we're doing the sides, we want to make sure we have A, B. And I'm very picky about paying attention to the order because it matters a whole lot when we get down here. I don't think Alex is as picky about the side lengths, but we should always kind of be picky about it. So A goes to Z. Z. And B goes to Y. So you can actually match them up from what you just did here. A, B, Z, Y. But we can also look at the diagram, and I'm going from one arc to two arcs across here. So you can do the same thing from here. One arc to two arcs. I can actually use the angles, the markings, to kind of help me map that a little bit. So now I'm going from A to C, so the top to the bottom, so I'd go to Z and X. Z and X. And again, I'm just using the piece I filled out over here, but I could use the diagram and go one arc to three arcs, one arc to three arcs, so it'd be Z to X. I want to make sure I'm going in that same direction. So it's not just about the Z and the X, it's the direction I'm going. Because that also matters. We want them to always be in corresponding order. BC, so BC, so two arcs to three arcs, so I can go two arcs to three arcs. It'd be Y, Y to X, and again I can see that BC, YX. All right, so then we're going to do the exact same thing when we come down here, CBA. So I have CBA, and I can look at that as the arcs too when I'm doing that. So I have 3 to 2 to 1. So I'm going to go 3 to 2 to 1. So X, Y, Z. So X, Y, Z. And I can match that up also here. So C goes to X, C and X are first. B goes to Y, B and Y are both in the middle. And then A goes to Z, and A and Z are both in the end. That matters so much. Those need to be in corresponding order, or this will not be correct. So definitely pay attention to the order you're putting them in. All right. So